Meg's podcast beaten by Kim Kardashian. Sussex desperate as American turn their back on her. GB News breakfast reporters Rosie Wright and Paul Hawkins invited showbiz reporter Kinsey Schofield to react to Meghan Markle's latest episode of her podcast Archetypes. The reporter revealed the Duchess of Sussex is becoming less and less interesting to the American audience. Meghan spoke with actress Issa Rae and comedian Z on her latest episode for Spotify. Rosie asked, the strategy she's trying to use to sort of reset the narrative and define herself as who she wants to be seen, is that working in the States are people sort of favorable towards her? Not really, Kinsey replied. I mean, I have to be honest with you, if you look at the numbers, her podcast, that very first episode, it blew up. I think people were very curious, but lately, Kim Kardashian is beating her on the Spotify charts. There's less and less interest in her, and I think American media has noticed this new direction in the narrative. I think we're pleasantly surprised that she's complaining less, but it's also coming off as insincere because it's such a 180. In the podcast, the Duchess appeared to hit back at recent claims made by royal biographers Tom Bower and Valentine Lowe. She said, I'm particular. I think a rising tide raises all ships. We're all going to succeed, so let's make sure it's really great, it's a shared success. But I also know that I will find myself cowering and tiptoeing into a room where the thing that I find the most embarrassing when you're saying a sentence with the intonation goes up like it's a question. And you're like, oh my god, stop. Stop, like, whispering and tiptoeing around it. Just say what it is that you need, Meghan said. You're allowed to set a boundary. You're allowed to be clear, does not make you demanding. It does not make you difficult, it makes you clear. Kinsey explained how she felt the Duchess of Sussex was utilizing her podcast. She said, this seems really transparent that she's utilizing American media, she's utilizing this podcast to respond kind of vaguely to accusations that both Tom Bower and Valentine Lowe have made against her in their recent books. She wants you to know that she's not a bully, she's just an assertive woman, and you're going to have to come to your own conclusions on whether or not that's the truth. She's clearly using this podcast as a vehicle to respond to some of those accusations in a way that's not as blatant as a sit-down Oprah interview. But she's trying to paint a picture of who she wants the world to see her as through this podcast. Someone close to the Meghan Markle deal or no deal situation told Us Weekly that while Meghan isn't happy about the negative backlash, she's learned a long time ago not to get too cut up or demotivated by those who wish to dwell in negativity, especially over something so trivial as a job she left many years ago. The insider added that even with the backlash, Meghan doesn't regret talking about her experience on the show. Within the podcast episode, Meghan detailed how there were stations backstage for the suitcase models to get lashes and hair extensions. She also said that a producer once yelled at her to suck it in. Such negative commentary is not new to Markle, nor has it lessened with time. Meghan has been dealing with negative opinions from the public since the reveal that she was dating Prince Harry in 2017. After the Duke and Duchess of Sussex stepped back from royal duties in 2020, Meghan has taken a number of opportunities to tell her side of the story, including the bombshell interview with Oprah. She told The Cut that when the media has shaped the story around you, it's really nice to be able to tell your own story. Really